Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to Morning Verses with Mike. Thank you for getting up and joining me early this morning. Certainly it is 6:15 a.m. here and I do this every weekday morning at 6:15, and if you're up, I would love to have you join me, whether you're watching live or if you're watching later or if it's in a different time or time zone where you're at. I'm going to thank you for joining me. I'm going to pop these open and get things rolling this morning. I think I'm able to pull this off on both screens so that I can see everybody that's participating. So I stream this a couple places. Good morning, Andrew. I see you over there. Stream this a couple places on my Morning Verses with Mike Facebook page. And if you're not a fan, I would love for you to be a fan there. Click the little notify me icon. I stream it on my personal page for people I'm connected with closely, and as well as the YouTube channel for Morning Verses with Mike. So that way I kind of hit all the audiences and share some morning Jesus, some morning positivity, and get things rolling. So this morning we are going to be sharing, I'm going to be sharing from Romans chapter 5 verse 3. As with each and every morning, I share from the New Living Translation of Every Man's Bible. And the reason is because I'm just into the New Living Translation right now. I grew up, if like many of you probably, King James Version and so forth. And so this is just kind of a shift and a change, and it's something I've really been enjoying. I like Every Man's Bible because it's a study Bible and it has some extra info kind of in the sidebars and such. So let me pull this one over a little bit so I can see. There we go. And Andrew says Luke 6:43. So I will take a look at that one with you. Thank you for sharing. That reminds me, if you have a verse that's impacting you in your life right now, share it in the sidebar, share it in the comments, because I would love to continue the conversation after the video, or I may use that for a future video. Good morning, Arcelia. Anthony, good morning. Rich. Rich and Anthony, that's two separate people. So Romans this is the most orderly presentation. The book of Romans, the most orderly presentation of the gospel. And so I'm going to dive in here to chapter 5 verse 3. It says, "We can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they help us to develop endurance." I'm going to read that one more time. "We can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they help us develop endurance." And in the beginning of the chapter, just to put this into a little bit of context for everybody, in the beginning of the chapter, it talks about us being made right with God, us reconnecting with God. And so this particular verse is all about perseverance and trying until. It is so easy to let go and give up. And so often right now, there are so many things. And I feel like I say this a lot every morning, but it's just one of those things that speaks to me. There are so many things coming at us that if we attempt this and this and this and this and this and this, you can do a lot of things okay. But there is something to be said for that endurance and that perseverance to see a task all the way through, to completeness. There's something to be said, and it's just one of those things the reminder to me is to try until. You don't just make an attempt, but you try until you succeed at it. And so it's not that our lives are going to be without trial. It's not, and it depends on how you look at it. A lot of times things that are coming at us are just a temporary setback, and it really is, you could be that close. It's like the 3 feet from gold story. And I don't remember this perfectly, but you have true story. Guy's out mining in California, and he's mining and mining and mining and mining and mining, and he never hits anything. He never finds gold. So he says, "You know what? I give up. I'm out." He sells all his equipment. He sells all the land. New guy comes in, buys the equipment, buys the land. I don't remember specifically who it is. It's too early for my brain to function and remember the specifics of it. But buys all the stuff and hires a surveyor to determine, okay, where should I be digging? Well, literally, it turns out that this guy was 3 feet from this huge gold vein, like one of the biggest gold veins, I think, in California history. So there's something to be said about perseverance and endurance and trying different maneuvers to try until we succeed at that one thing. Because this other person that had come in and purchased the land, the equipment, all those things, he's like, look, I put all my money, I put all my stuff behind it. I have no choice but to succeed. So he persevered until. You know, it can be particularly difficult to persevere through a single task. It can be difficult to persevere through certain things. But when we do, it develops an endurance and an attitude of fortitude and an attitude of thankfulness and pride in a job well done. You know, one of the things that and I don't remember where I heard this, but one of the things that I have said over and over is there is always wisdom gained in the attempt. You know, so if you attempt something and you don't succeed at it, but you're willing to keep going, right? Hopefully you learned a new way to attempt something. If you try something and you succeed at it, hopefully you learned in what allowed you to succeed. So, you know, there is wisdom no matter what, win, lose, or draw, succeed or fail. There's wisdom gained in the attempt. And so in this verse, I'm going to read it one more time here because I've been talking for a moment, but it says, we can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they help us develop endurance. You know, patience is that gift it refers to as an endurance, right? Learning to be patient, learning to be calm, and it allows us to continue to succeed under tremendous weight sometimes without succumbing to your frustrations or giving up. So that's how that's speaking to me this morning. Thank you so much for getting up and joining me. Going to give a few more shout outs. I got people on both sides of me. So Anthony, I think I said good morning. He always says good morning, coach. One of my first hockey players. We've had a relationship for, 25 years now. So I appreciate you, man. It's good to continue to connect. I'm glad you're watching. Paul, Michael, Frank, Kinslow, man, hey, I hope you're doing great out where you're at. It's good to see you tuning in and watching this morning. It's good to continue to connect. Timmy James, nice to see you. You're the video guy, so I love when you're watching and the feedback on the videos. Ryan, I saw you pop in here, and good morning to you. So for everybody that's watching on whatever channel, again, please do me a favor. Click those little live notification buttons or the bell on YouTube so you get notified when I go live each morning. It's every weekday, 6:15 a.m. Do me a favor. One way we can share the Word of God and spread some of our faith and some positivity is to share the video. So click that share button now. Thanks for tuning in this morning. I hope your day is starting off great. And until we speak next, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.